Hey, welcome back to the Makers Making Podcast, episode number 9. I'm Alex, Projects in Dad's Garage. You guys should all know me since everything's hosted on my channel.
HR's here.
Where I got something going on. There we go. Sorry about that.
What? Nope.
I was echoing back at myself. I don't know if you guys could hear it or not.
Nope.
Anyway, we'll move on to my left, your right.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brad. I go by Howi3 Dewit on YouTube and Discord. Just strictly a maker that does a lot of projects, Nerf blasters, borons, just whatever to keep my printers busy because I like watching them print. So I guess I have to build stuff if I want to make parts.
Cody, that ends up putting you next. We added somebody, so now it's out of sync.
So I Cody, more commonly known online as TechJeeper, just a hobbyist 3D printer maker. I have pretty much every hobby you can think of, but I've been printing for 12, 13 years now. It's one of the only hobbies that have kept my attention all this time. So keep coming back to it, it seems like, but I think I was invited tonight to talk about one of my projects that I've been working on. So looking forward to it.
HR, that brings you to you.
Harsh reality, H reality. Name is Steven Machado. I'm just a general maker. I don't stream or anything. And much like TechJeeper up there, I just kind of muddle around and find projects that are of immediate interest and fire up printers in order to keep them going. So that includes building printers, modding printers, or anything that comes out of a printer. Thanks to some poor financial decisions, it's extremely large blasters of late. So we're just trying to keep our heads above water. Go, Daniel.
Oh, hi. Sorry, my view is different, I guess. I'm Daniel McKay. I own Howi3 Dewit.
So you're the one.
You purchased quite a bit. Talking about that hobby. Kind of similar story or background from some of these guys. I mean, I've been printing for 11 years. It's one of the few hobbies that have kept my attention. I tend to get dive really deep into something, get super into it, and 6 months later find something else. 3D printing has been one of the few things that have caught my hobby or my attention. I did take a 1 or 2 year not break, but slow down a little bit. And then COVID definitely got me right back into it, and I've been pretty strong since.
Cool. My turn. Hi, I'm Ryan, otherwise known as Captain Curtin. I am a former professional gamer, IT guy, and y'all pretty much know me. As of today, I am no longer a online game streamer. I am no longer a PUBG partner. I'll play games online occasionally, but I'm entering the makerspace full time now.
Oh, cool. Is that a positive for you?
It is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
reduce some stresses. Martin, how's it going tonight?
And if you haven't hit that like button, do it now.
He'll get you.
I have my ways.
My little one just broke the refrigerator door thing, and everything fell off of it. I guarantee you, it's the shelf with all my hot sauces.
Ooh,
One of which
You
is
sin.
walk
yours,
by and it
Dan.
smells like Chili's.
I need to order some of that,
Our
by the way.
our
Oh,
hot
the
sauce
caramel apple is fantastic.
corner that we have our hot sauces. Every time you walk by, it smells so good, and I'm just wondering. I'm like, there's got to be one that broke because I shouldn't be smelling it, but it still smells great.
It's
Yeah.
like going into a gas station and finding an incense section.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. And fortunately, yeah, the hot sauce smells good, so every time I walk by, it's a little bit of joy.
Jerry, welcome to chat. Glad to have you here. So tonight we're going to talk. First off, we're going to talk about the business behind 3D printing, and Daniel's going to let us in on all the secrets.
I wish I knew them. I'm still figuring them out.
And then we're going to talk a little bit about Print Inventory, which is a program that Tech Cheaper Cody has been working on for quite some time. I think I first heard about it almost 2 years ago now, right?
A year this time. It was exactly 1 year ago last weekend. So
Oh, okay. I'm losing track of time. It's all right.
it's been a long year, so
It
it's
has.
understandable.
So, like I said, I want to start off with Daniel. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the story behind West 3D?
Sure. Yeah. So, like I said, I've been into 3D printing for 11 years or so. COVID really sort of kicked it back in gear. Like many of you guys, I did the ear savers and the 3D printable sort of mask accessories, the visors, all that. We had a sort of a local maker chapter that donated to tribes and things like that. So really got more into 3D printing then. I also ended up being furloughed for a while. So my sort of day-to-day job, which I was in sourcing, I was a sourcing manager, um, was sort of put on hold for a little bit. We weren't buying anything because everything was stopped and no one, I was actually working for a lottery, and we did like video poker in bars and stuff like that. And no one, I mean, we don't need to buy or service more machines when no one can go inside the bars, right?
Yeah.
So that was a big thing. Um, I also gave myself a little bit of time because my wife is Italian. I was in Italy, and sort of around that 2021, early 2021 mark, Voron really blew up. That's like I would say it went from being sort of a smaller project, with maybe a couple thousand people interested in it, to being something that sort of instantly blew up to having 20, 30,000 people involved in the project, in one way or another, like building a printer. And I just thought it was super cool. I was like, I've got a bunch of time on my hands. I'm not going to be doing anything for like another month and a half. I want to build this printer. Um, because of the popularity, there was nowhere that you could buy. They didn't have kits back then, or if they did, they really weren't very good. And so it was really popular to self-source, and that's what I ended up having to do. Most of the stores, Fabrico is still around. I see TechGP, we've got KV3D's hat. KB3D was around. 3D Maker parts. There were a couple other stores that were selling Voron things. but everybody was out of stock. So as I start going through the list, the BOM is 200 lines long if you count all the hardware and stuff like that. I was like, this is a pain in the butt. So I took fasteners were the first thing I did because that seemed like the easiest thing to buy. It's a single source, but everybody was having to go to McMaster or Bolt Depot or one of those places to buy like 100 of something that you maybe need like 10.
Yeah, McMaster car.
Yep, totally. And I basically, my whole thing was I went through the BOM and started working with all the suppliers, trying to source enough so I could build 10 printers. That's it. Don't get hit by the car. To build enough to build 10 printers. The idea that I could sell 9 of them and with the margin pay off mine. That was my goal. That was it. Before I got to that point, before actually all the stuff came in, I was also selling out of everything. And this was like on Discord selling things. And that's kind of how things started. The printer that I finally got to build took me like 2 years because what happened is the store sort of took off. I started spending more and more time just trying to keep things, buy things, keep them in stock. Very limited capital. I put everything on credit cards to begin with. And it was literally a churn. I was buying things under $800 because you didn't have to pay duty back then. And then just churning them. And I was making multiple purchases from the same vendor every month. Like it was like a
Thank you.
thing I was doing. Yeah, and it just kind of blew up. And unfortunately, it took me 2 years to finish building that printer because, business takes time. And I would say that's one of the big things. Is it's a big commitment. The number of I went about 2 years doing this and my other job, and yeah, those are 80-hour weeks every week. It was tough, but that's how I started.
Mind if you send me a picture because I asked you if you ever managed to.
Oh yeah.
Let me.
And the funny thing is, that's not actually the first Voron that I built. Like I ended up doing a V0 before that, but that is the one that that's the product of the one that started everything.
So here we are.
So traditional, it's Voron Red. It's still running. It is actually still running a stealth burner on it. That's something I'm going to be changing. I've got the cheap compact I'm throwing on there. It's not. It's not heavily modified. Standard kind of kinematics mount, titanium backers. I do have the IKO Motion Perfect rail on there, which is kind of Gucci. But it's nothing crazy. Most of our customers that are building these have cooler Vorons than I do. But it works.
At some point,
it just works. I will say I'm probably one of the only ones though that has Max, who started Voron design, and a whole bunch of I think I have a good chunk of the Voron design team signed that printer. So those panels in the back are all signatures. The deck panel is filled with signatures. 3D Printing Nerd signed it. Yeah, it's a nice feature.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, you had quite a few of them through your shop recently, didn't you?
Yeah. We Voron Vice, which is an event for Voron owners that they now do every year. Next year is going to be in Portugal, but this last year was in Portland. So yeah, we ended up with like 70 people that came to our shop, I think, which was nuts because we never have that many people here. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah. And again, a good chunk of the Voron team was there, which was kind of nice because we sell other things. In fact, we just started selling bamboo. We sell Soval. We sell, Cheaty. A whole bunch of different printers. But I still am a DIY person at heart, and so it is really cool. The Voron stuff still makes me very happy.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
The berserker items, the rails, the fans, etc.
Mhm.
Is that something that you have built to your spec for you to sell? Is that how that works?
Yeah. Yeah. So unlike some of the other brands, we end up carrying, and if you look at like plates and you look at rails, we still have West 3D rails. We
Mm-hmm.
still have LDO, whatever. We still have like a more baseline generic. If we're gonna put the Berserker name on it, it's because we believe it's better than what sort of you can just find if you were to go to a vendor and ask or supplier and ask, can I get this? Um, for instance, the Berserker rails, it's a manufacturer that we found. That's sort of trade secret. It's funny, people try to guess, and it's always been wrong. Um, but they're manufactured to Highwind precision spec, which means it's distributor class. You can interchange carriages. I mean, all of those things that you typically find on rails that are 2-3 times the price.
Mm-hmm.
We put Berserker on it because we're like, okay, that's special. It's a premium mark. We can stand behind it. Our other rails are great. We actually increased them to what's called like H class, which measures parallelism and things like that in the rail. They are quality rails as well, but that's something that CNA makes. If you call CNA and say, hey, can I get a rail this length, this preload in H class, they'll make it for you and you can get it. Like, it's not a secret. So those are our West 3D rails. They're going to be affordable. They're going to be, probably about the same price as if you got them from CNA. But that's kind of how I differentiate that.
I've got a bunch of Berserker rails in my cart right now.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
redoing this Trident for the using Vitali's new rigid metal gantry and everything, and the Ouroboros board.
Oh,
And
God. That's pretty cool.
yeah, it's a fun build. But I went to grease the X carriage. I greased all the rails and stuff. I'm like, man, these are really dry. I grease it and it's still it feels okay, but good lord, it sounds horrendous on the X axis.
Yeah. One of the things, and that's actually something a lot of people don't know too, is most rails that you get from China, because of the way that the inner carriage channels are set and the clearances, they'll have a grease hole, but it's not actually functioning because there's not enough clearance to let the grease go through. The Berserker rails actually do have a functioning grease port, so that was a custom spec that we had them design a carriage that will work for it.
Yeah, I need to get me a little grease guns that'll work on those ports.
I just broke mine trying to grease these rails.
Oh no. But it's also for that, and things change. I mean, we react, I guess, to what people ask for. But we do. I said I have Motion Perfect on mine. That's an IKO product.
I want a set of it. They're so expensive.
But like, I didn't put it as Berserker because they're like, that's almost over the top. Like, I don't want to. It's a different, like, I don't know. Berserker rail is like $40, let's say. I mean, the same rail in the IKO with the high precision, self-lubricating, sealed bearings, I mean, all of that stuff is like 160. So it's like just a totally different class, which is why I did it there. If I can get MGN 9s, I'm running it on everything. I mean, I think I calculated that for a printer running 300 millimeters a second, 24 hours a day, it's like 5 years of use that those rails and carriages are rated for. So without they're maintenance free is what IKO calls them. So you don't have to worry about re-greasing or anything like that. So
yeah, I need a set of that. When you're pushing, 100,000 KXLs and 600 millimeters a second, the stuff starts eating itself.
Oh yeah, totally.
So, sounds like you pretty much bootstrapped West 3D into existence. Shout out to Discover, Chase, and you know. Uh, but now, as a content creator, I know how much time I spend, you know, talking with companies and trying to figure stuff out. I can't imagine what it must have taken. I imagine it's a little bit easier now, but in the beginning to be like, hey, I'm a vendor, want to open up an account and get stuff. And I had worked with um, Thrive 3D Anthony out in
Mhm.
uh, which out in North Carolina for a while. I took care of setting up all of his site stuff, and I know just how much of a hard time it is for a new company to get inventory and you know get a price on stuff that allows you to sell it and make a profit.
Yeah.
Um, how did how hard was that for you in the beginning?
I mean, I want to say that I think I'm extremely lucky and blessed. I'm not, um, because of the community that sort of surrounded me, and that I was able to be a part of in the Voron Design group. They kind of kicked it off for me. Um, when I see new companies start, I mean, the hardest part actually isn't buying product and reselling product. The hardest part is getting someone to trust you enough to go on your site, add to cart, and check out. That is that's the hurdle that you have to make. Um, and you know, I got into the Voron community. It's a very active one. I was online every day. I mean, I made friends with people, and they kind of, I mean, honestly, we ran off of Voron. Like 90% of our sales was from Voron guys, um, and then I mean, like once you sort of pass that hurdle, it's a lot easier. Um, certainly, when you start and you're talking to Big Tree Tech or you're talking to um, LDO, I mean, all of these companies now will have a minimum quantity. They're going to be a little skeptical about, whether or not you're a good company to represent their brand, whether it's worth giving you a discount at all. Um, those things are tough. And I will say, like, even when I started selling things, I mean, if you're only buying like 10 or 20 of something, um, it's hard. That's not reseller, distributor level for any of them by any means. Um, it is tough. I will say now it's not a problem because either people have heard of us or I can, point to our site. They can see we offer a bunch of stuff. I don't have that hurdle anymore. But that was pretty big. But I would just say, I mean, I again lucked out because the community around me supported the store. Really, we wouldn't be anywhere without the community that was there helping. Like we just, Steven, again, he's probably placed 20 orders with our store. It's people like him that have made the store successful. And I'm sure if I look at his account, we have we've I mean, I'm sure we've had um, this is the one other thing, and I'll stop rambling. Um, you know, the one thing that I see from a lot of businesses is sort of a more short-sighted nature. As a business, you are there to make money for sure, but you have to have sort of a long game mentality. So, Stephen, I mean, I'll use you as an example. It's possible. It's true. I mean, it's true with a lot of our best customers. We're a small business. We've been growing. Last year, we had a 40% or 50% year-over-year growth. That's huge. It's really hard to
Yeah.
maintain stability there because you're constantly trying to scale and rescale. You get something nailed down and you mess up again. Um, we mess up on orders. Like it's no secret. I mean, it's not like 10% or something like that, but it's like more than it should be. Where we've messed up, we've sent the wrong product. That's usually what happens. Or we forget to send something. Those experiences, like we don't wait for the customer to send it back. We don't, try to charge somebody shipping. I mean, all of that stuff. If we figure it out, like we try to go above and beyond to make that customer have that good experience, so that they feel safe and comfortable coming back to us, knowing that even if they mess up, they're going to take care of it.
You absolutely do. I tried to get a set of the side panels for the V0, the RGB panels.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And there was they showed in stock. I ordered them, and you guys emailed me, said, hey, there was an inventory problem. I don't have them. We tried to find them with other vendors. Nobody else had them. So you just refunded me back and shipped the rest of the order, and everything was good.
Yeah, I mean, we try to be proactive. I would say usually, most of the time in that circumstance, we'll also give you a store credit. So like we'll give you like $10 or $5 or whatever.
I think
like
we knocked the shipping off the other stuff that was coming.
Or yeah, we'll knock off. I mean, we'll do something to make the experience positive and turn that negative situation into something more positive.
Yeah, it wasn't mad at all. It was,
and I mean, I see like again, TechJeeper's got KB3D's hat on. KB3D does the exact same thing. They're fantastic. In fact, Brad, I mean, when we say we look at other vendors, I mean, that means I probably went to KB3D. I went to Fabrico. In that case, Provokes3D sold them. I go to those sites, and even if I'm going to lose money, if I can find that somewhere else, usually I'll try to buy it from them and give you a heads up and say, hey, by the way, this is going to come from Chris over at KB3D. He's doing us a solid so that you are not inconvenienced by our mistakes. And that mentality, I think has fostered a lot of trust and support from the community, that then they go tell their friends or whatever, like, hey, go buy this over here at West 3D. And honestly, that's, I think, our growth. We have zero advertising dollars. Like we don't run any paid ads. All of our growth is organic growth. The only exception is we do now run an affiliate program, but it's not something that we're pushing. And I think that's been the reason why we've been able to do that, is because we've got that community support.
But I bet if we had a little counter to count how many times your company name pops up on YouTube in a day.
It's growing. It's amazing.
Literally every day, at least a dozen times for me.
That's awesome.
I mean, I think that's one of the huge things is community involvement. I mean, that's one of the, I guess, the unique things about this hobby in particular is that the manufacturers and the suppliers seem to get really tight knit into the community. And most of the time, I know I like to support the companies that get involved and that support us. So
yeah.
I know if I hit W on my keyboard in a search bar, it finishes out West 3D one letter.
All right, when you get to the video,
I want to say this. So, because I didn't know it for a very long time, because I normally use the shop app on my phone. But if you're a customer of West 3D and you've been using Shopify or whatever, if you go onto their website and you go click in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a rewards section and some pretty sweet rewards. Shirt was free. I got a hat on the way. I think my caramel apple hot sauce was free.
That's on the shop app?
No, you got to go to the website.
But it should. I mean, don't quote me on it, but it should, if you register, it should still link to your account that you use the shop.
It does.
On. All of the points should back date at least to a certain point in time. So
the only thing I've found is that if I'm looking for something in particular, if I go to the shop app and I'm putting in, a Berserker rail, whatever, it may not show up on that shop app, but I go to your site and it's there.
Interesting.
And then in the
Yeah.
checkout, though, I can still check out through shop.
Oh,
The
yeah.
shop does not have your full inventory like your website does.
Interesting. Yeah, it's on Shopify. There's different sales channels, so it's possible that just something is disabled in that, not intentionally, probably.
No, it's not just
Dan,
you. It's every
yeah.
site. It's that way.
Dan, I should point out something to you on your guys' TikTok store. I got a 40% off coupon that was valid for almost unlimited products.
Oh, no kidding.
And
Wow.
it showed the Centauri Carbon on your store is valid for 40% off.
Oh, wow. That's
You
a
might
promo
check
that
into
they're doing
that.
for us, but I didn't do that. So
Here he goes. He's going to start typing.
What was that
It was
store
a tick-
again?
it wasn't a West 3D coupon. It was a TikTok coupon.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's cool.
Interesting.
So
I think they do
would
that.
look into that.
I think they do that. Like if you haven't shopped on TikTok Shop for a while.
Yeah,
or
it was a
they'll give you
first-time
those coupons.
order thing.
Yeah. Yep.
And
So it's
I didn't
something
go
that-
through it
it's something
because,
they do to
frankly,
clarifies that.
Deal.
I'm broke right now. So I was like,
Try that. I don't shop on TikTok at all, so I need to get on that. See if I can find something.
yeah.
The Ambrosia.
Are you kidding? I get into enough trouble with what I got available. I don't need TikTok.
No,
The only thing that's keeping me alive right now is my wife's got bad legs and she can't make it down here to the basement.
I wait till she leaves, and I always hide stuff in the garage. It's like my staging area. And then once she's out, that's when I'll move it upstairs.
That's funny.
oh no, honey, this is just discontinued inventory.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I will say having the business by itself has like made the 3D printing expenses like a non-thing anymore. I don't get the like, how much are you spending on this thing? And like, do you need another one? I can always be like, it's a business doing it. It's for research and development or whatever. You know?
Right.
In fact, I have a snap maker that should be here any day now. That is a research and
Nice.
development.
I would really like to have one of those just to see how they work.
I love.
I
that.
just-
It's
Yeah.
right here next to me. I was one of the. I was an early Kickstarter backer, and that thing is
That's
just.
awesome.
I haven't done any multicolored printers or multicolored prints on any of my other printers since I got it. It's just so
Oh, wow.
efficient.
Okay.
Just cruises.
I'm excited.
I want to
And
see some prints off of one of those in person. The layer stacking looks off every time I see a print.
Oh, I mean,
Online.
mine was tuned in from the get go. I mean, I don't know if you can. I mean, there's no.
Oh, nice.
I mean, this was the first print. This was
That would be a
any
lot of
calibration.
color changes.
So
Um,
my first real print that I did was one of Built Over Bot's models, and it was a bird. And I think on my Bamboo it quoted as like 2.5 days or something like that, and it was like 12 hours on the snap maker. It's crazy how much more efficient it was because it did 4 color changes every layer, and I had it scaled up. It's pretty crazy. The tool changers are just ridiculous how much more efficient they are.
I'm
I'm
excited.
thinking that a lot of the stuff I've seen online, a lot of the prints, I think people are filming it top down. You know, I mean, the way a print looks on camera has a lot to do with your angle and lighting.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I would be remiss if I did not say this. Daniel, you're the inside track. What do you know about index?
Sorry, say that again. There's literally a train.
You're one of the inside track. What do you know about index?
As far as like release date or what? Because I have been talking to Olaf a little bit.
I've got a Venture XL sitting here. I've got the Tube Compact. We won't discuss that. I said the dirty C word. But what's do you have any predictions based on your inside track when index is going to be available?
I don't. I mean, they've changed my expectations a couple times. So if you asked me in like October or September, I would have said it's going to be released in March. At this point, May maybe. their pre-sales, I don't know if you checked that out, but I mean, when they did launch their pre-sale, that was out in like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, they blew up.
And I don't
Yeah.
think they were
Yeah.
expecting back then to have the Prusa partnership and all that stuff either.
Yeah,
So
I think
that
that
changes
really
your
changed things.
yeah.
I think that
Oh,
made it,
Yeah.
that changed their priority. Where before, when I had talked to them, I mean, it was that, hey, the Voron or profiles are going to be set and default to V0, Trident, like all of those would be sort of covered. And that's what they were releasing with when they showed it in April of what? I think it might have even been 3D Printopia like 2 years ago. Like, I mean, I forgot what show it was, but they had the little V0 out there. And yeah, I think the Prusa thing just changed it.
Yeah,
Well,
they had
here's a
one at
question.
Murph.
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say they.
Oh, it was Murph then, yeah.
Yeah. Here's a
Bruce is
question
hard
for you,
act to
Dan.
follow.
And they had one at
You have
Rapid.
any? Here's a question for you, Dan. Have you got any plans to bring in any of the new rat rig?
I don't. That's something that I've actually talked to Fabrico about a little bit because when Rat Rig was first going and approaching vendors to carry Rat Rig, they reached out to us as well. For us, it was one of those too many coals in the fire kind of thing. It was just hard to do. And I've learned some things from Fabrico on that. It's not in my current plans. It's not something that I'm going to say I'm not going to support. We now have a channel on the Rat Rig Discord to offer support. I mean, it's something that, I mean, I like the machines. They're very nice.
Yeah, I'm excited now that 4.1 came out. I think that Killa Prince, does that discount the 3.1 kit you've got for sale now?
I mean, they have an upgrade path, so
Never hurts to ask, right?
So, Dan, at some point in your journey there, you decided to launch what is a filament brand that takes up most of my filament collection at this point.
Same.
How did that
Agreed.
start, and what was the development path for that? Because
Oh, gosh. I mean, there's some of these things, like I could go on for hours about, I mean, all of these. The filament is definitely one of them that I'll give like a brief synopsis. Um, So first, the one thing that I find every company that's trying to start a retail business try to do is to get into filament. I purposefully avoided it for the better part of like 2.5 years while we grew the business. Reason being is if you're starting out in your house, a garage, small warehouse, filament in the 3D printing world has the least value per square foot of any product that we carry in the store. It's large, it's heavy, and it costs almost nothing. It's a commodity. Where like, I mean, I can seriously, one of the first like custom products we came out with was our Undertaker tungsten carbide nozzle. I could take like our little bin that's yay big of full of tungsten carbide nozzles, and the value of that is as much as an entire shelf of filament. So if you're starting a business, you can carry filament. That's fine. Do not focus on it. Don't bring in 10 pallets of it, especially if you're like, again, in your garage or whatever. Carry the stuff that actually has value. Carry the hot ends. Carry the, even the pulleys and belts and all that stuff. That doesn't take up much space for how much they actually cost. So yeah, I did not focus on filament much. The filament that I did carry, I started out with toner plastics. Honestly, I found a clearance buy. They used to sell like 1 kilogram spools for like $5. I don't know. It's like if you bought enough of them. Then they changed it to like doing like half kilograms or 250 grams. So it's not a good deal anymore. And then KVP. In the Voron community, KVP was like kind of the gold standard for ABS. We got to a point where our volume in filament, by the way, was only about 900 kilograms of filament a year. So less than 3 kilograms a day is what we were selling. Again, it was not our focus. You came to West 3D, maybe you bought some, but it wasn't what you came to West 3D for. The quality of that filament went downhill kind of steadily. I don't want to say like it was instant, but pretty steadily. And their support changed a lot. So I'm okay if you have problems and you make mistakes. I mean, that stuff happens in this business. I mean, I don't know how many recalls I've pushed out. I've pushed out probably 10 recalls because something happened that I wasn't satisfied with, and it happens. So they used to just replace things. I'd say, hey, I got this case of filament in. 10 out of the 12 had broken zip ties because they were refills, and I can't sell them. They would give me a credit, send me new stuff. They stopped even responding, and they just didn't own the mistakes that they were making. So I ended up, seriously, one shipment, like 40-50% of the filament that I got in, I had to toss. I was like, this isn't good.
That's right.
And it was stuff like they couldn't put zip ties on the right way. I mean, it's not like rocket science. Like they put them on backwards. So like, once you open up the vacuum seal or whatever, they just come off. They started having color inconsistencies. So you'd have like Voron red that would go from kind of a nice deep red to pink, like within the same spool. It was an issue. So there's actually a public like us saying, hey, we're breaking ties with KVP. Here's why. We wanted to create something that we had more control over after that experience. Something that if there's a problem, we can change how we're mixing colors. We can change how a spool is wound. We can basically throw that one throat to choke and have it be someone like that, like is actually going to change your ways. And so obviously if we control it, we have that ability. Ambrosia is not manufactured in-house. It's not something that we make in the U.S. It's partially a cost issue. However, we don't just white label our filament. So it's not like you can just go to brand B and that's going to be the exact same thing. In fact, if you look at like our PLA and ASA line, especially the new stuff, those are colors that you can't find anywhere. They're our own sort of custom things. Our matte ABS is our own resin. We spec'd it. It's not something that they make for other people. We've kind of created this brand that we can. It's called a house brand, by the way. We're not saying it's like the best thing in the whole world, but it also is affordable. It's something that you should be able to, like a house line, consume, and it should work great for you. Yeah. We should be happy with the value of it. So our ASA is like $10 less than Polymaker's ASA, and you'll get roughly you should get the same results. Maybe ours is better. I don't know.
You can't say it, but I can. Okay. It is. I have tried a bunch of filaments in my time. It is hands down the best, most consistent filament. This printer's got the Galaxy planetary blue on it, and I've bought spools over a year apart from each other.
Yeah,
and you can't tell the difference, and
so
they're right next to each other.
So we have a couple things that we get on our supplier about. Color consistency is one of those that I told them that they'll mix and they'll actually make swatches in between batches, and they'll compare the swatches to make sure that it's consistent. Those are steps that most places don't take. For instance, we double dry and we don't flash dry our filament. That's something that a lot of manufacturers don't do. So we should more consistently out of the bag have drier filament than most places will have.
The free shipping keeps you on par with competing with Amazon too.
Yeah, and we try to ship quick. I mean, the problem is we're in Oregon, so if you're on the East Coast, like it's not coming instantly.
There's been a few times I've driven up to KB3D to pick up a roll of Ambrosia because I had to have it.
Too. Yeah, but things are changing. I will say batch to batch, we still have issues. We keep changing like the way we wind ASA. PLA is easy. PLA is pretty dense. A standard bamboo size roll, you can roll a kilogram and you still have like an inch of space left over. ASA is quite a bit less dense, and so if you don't wind tight enough, it can sort of jump over the edge. If you wind too tight, it can like spread it. We use cardboard spools right now. It can spread the spools out. It won't cross, but it will go underneath or go along the edge of the spool.
I had a spool that pushed through. It like went in and then caused it to get wound up weird. And
yeah,
I put in a ticket. Hey, this is doing some weird stuff. Just letting you know. And they even though I didn't want another spool, they're like, well, we better give you another one because it's gonna do it again. And sure enough, about 3 more times, I had to keep redoing it. So, and the new spool did it once or twice, but it's been clean so far. So
yeah. So I mean, those are things though that like batch over batch we can change because they're not just throwing a label on filament that they've already made and calling it ambrosia. We're basically leasing a line in production capacity. So when we say, hey, we have an order for 10,000 kilograms, we now have that line for like 2 weeks, and they can change the way it's rolled. They can do new colors, all that stuff. Like that it doesn't make a difference for them.
Dedicated research.
They can make that 10,000 kilograms.
Nice.
So yeah,
That'd be quite a process to find a manufacturer to do that for you.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, no, these guys are fantastic. And they're very responsive. In that situation of like bad spools, I mean, we do get some. And for us, yes, it's so much easier to just offer a replacement because it shouldn't happen again. Like the failure rate is still low. But I mean, we have people, I actually got one last week where someone took a picture and it was like, you could see the cardboard, like it was down at the end. Like it was the last like 2 rows or whatever of filament. And I mean, if you had a bad experience, I don't want to be like, hey, I'm sorry, that stinks, but it looks like you got almost a full kilogram. No, I want someone to end with a positive experience. So yes, we send a new one, you use it, it should work well, and hopefully that ends up being a positive experience for you. But yeah, no, Ambrosia's been something else. I mean, we've probably 50x'd our filament sales and consumption in like 2 years. I mean, it's no joke. Our year over year for the company was 50%. For the filament was 178%.
When did you start buying the ambrosia, Alex?
Well, 2 years ago. That was like 2 years ago. Machinza still worked there. I was specking out for this Trident build. So I was like almost 2 years ago or something like that, I think.
Yeah. And, for us, the PLA and ASA are our 2 main lines. If you're looking for a color, they should match between lines pretty close. There's actually a difference between the resins, so they're not perfect, but the color names will carry over. When we started, and it's still the case, when I got into it, let's say 10 years ago, there was a Prusa article, I remember, how ASA is going to be the new thing. ABS isn't going to exist anymore. There's no reason to print ABS. And there's some truth in that. What I saw happening was instead of getting rid of ABS, what they did was make ASA like a premium option, a premium material. Mm-hmm. So you had ABS that was still selling for $18, $20 a kilogram, and then the ASA was $30 a kilogram. When I got quotes as far as like what filament would cost, the difference for me of buying ASA versus ABS was like $1. So all of that extra $9 is all just fluff that the supplier manufacturer is milking
because
to
they
keep
could, because
business
it's the new
alive.
hotness.
So yeah, it's I mean, we came in and we're like, no, we're pricing ASA at ABS prices plus $1. We're going to charge based off what we get against a house thing. We have another company, the retail store, that's doing fine for itself. We don't need to make a killing off of the filament if we can provide it and basically support itself.
Yeah. Anybody that's looked into filament recycling, don't.
Yeah. I broke it down for a guy at work one day
Yeah.
because he's talking about buying this filament recycler. It was like $600. I'm like, all right.
Oh, boy.
So now, how many?
Did he ever get his loop?
I was like, so you're going to recycle your, supports or whatever, failed prints. I was like, all right, let's just say that 10% of your print is, supports and whatnot that you're going to recycle. So you need to buy 10 kilograms of filament to get 1 kilogram to recycle. And that saves you, $20, let's say. It's like, you're going to be years and so many hundreds of spools of filament in before this thing even remotely pays for itself.
Yeah.
And that's not including the time and frustration and electric that you're going to invest into this thing.
Well, don't you have to put clean pellets in
Typically,
with
yeah.
the dirt? So
Yeah.
you got to
Usually it's
invest
at least
in
a
that too.
60-40 mix.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm
so
in
you gotta
plastics
buy those.
manufacturing. This guy should have known better. Like, that's what we do for a living.
Yeah.
And if you're just sitting there sorting your colors, all you're going to do is make a bunch of doo-doo brown recycled filament.
Yeah, there you go.
And I mean, we use a lot of plastic. I mean, there's no getting around that. But I mean, compared to like if you're in packaging or something like that, the amount of plastic waste that there is, we actually, the additive manufacturing area, even if you do throw away 10%, is like remarkably efficient. It has a lot less plastic waste than most other plastics industries.
For specific reasons, I can't discuss all that from work, but yeah.
You'll get agents banging down the door.
In black.
Yeah, they might not be happy with me. But you and I discussed it, I don't know, a year ago or so when I was asking you about if you would ever consider moving production stateside and doing it in-house kind of thing. Yeah.
I mean, so for instance, we're doing PHA now. That's stateside. So that's made over in Michigan. Ecogenesis is the company that we buy the pellets from. But yeah, I mean, that's the idea of being sort of a house brand is also, it could be multi-sourced. I am happy. In fact, I've looked multiple times at bringing some of the product domestically. One of the challenges that you run into, though, is people would be very, I think, upset now that it's an established company. You've bought a lot of kilograms of filament. If you're trying to get that, galactic planetary blue, and you want that same galactic planetary blue, once the resin changes or just the colorant, the way it's mixed, all of that creates a bad experience when you get something that's different. So the consistency has been tough. We've looked recently, I mean, within the last 6 months at doing that, but it's like, if we do that, we can only start with maybe black and white, things that have like so much dye in it that you can make a black look like the other black and you can make the white look like the other white, and then sort of slowly move new things on there. We produce a bunch of new colors that could be moved, but it's not an easy proposition for sure.
Yeah. Work was getting rid of 2 injection molding machines, and I tried to convince them to let me have one of them. just to make filament in my garage.
Those are power hungry machines, though.
They are, and the electric company, even though three phases right there, won't put it to my house.
Oh man, that's rough.
And even if they did, it'd probably be 208 instead of 460.
No, I think I think it might be 640 or something. It runs over to the school.
Hmm.
But
Oh, just get a long extension cord then.
yeah, I'm sure they'd be thrilled with me.
That'd be a real big extension cord. But
Yeah, production is stalled. Somebody was mowing their grass.
Uh,
yeah. That's called the backhoe interrupt.
They only made that mistake once, though.
But yeah, no, the filament's been it's been great. We actually we've moved like 4 times since my garage, and it's for more space every time. And now we've got basically an entire warehouse that's just dedicated to holding filament because it's so big. But I mean, the other thing is just I print with it. I'm a user, so I mean, I know if there's issues or whatever, I know what I want. You got to have fun with what you're doing. And like, I don't know, some of the new colors, like I came up with one that's called Skin Rash. Like literally, I was like, let me get a light skin color. I want to see what it looks like when I put red glitter in it, so it looks like a scab almost. Like I want it to be disgusting looking. I don't care. I want to have fun with it.
uh, oh yeah, they were asking you for flesh burner forever.
Yep. Our light skin color is the flesh burner color. But yeah, I mean, it's like that kind of thing. Like you got to have fun with it. If you stop having fun, like what are you doing? And I think, there's people that get into it. They don't like the 3D printing part, or they don't like, in my case, the operations of retail, and you get worn out and you lose that fun. You lose that sort of that way of working, and you burn out. So,
If you want to learn,
How do you keep it fun for yourself then?
dude, you gotta do fun stuff like that. I mean, I don't know, we come up with stupid projects. Fortunately, there's a lot of people most of the new like cool products that we come up with are not things that I'm finding anymore. Like I'm just struggling to keep stock of 3,000 SKUs now.
Wow.
But people will hit my DMs and be like, "Hey, have you seen this thing?" And I mean, I still get excited about it. It's just I think it's cool. I mean, it's like, if you're, I don't know, for instance, we got the new PC case. It's totally not something that like is related to anything I do, but I'm like, man, this is so cool. Like, bring it in. If you stop and stuff like that becomes not cool anymore, I think, your business is going to fail. Because even though now I'm not doing 2 jobs, I mean, this is still 60 hours a week. It's not 60 hours in the office. I mean, but I'm looking at my phone. I'm talking to people that are showing me cool projects. I'm going home and trying to figure out I'm working on the bomb right now for something. Oh yeah, a new printer. That it's like you're still working, and if you don't like what you're doing, you're not going to spend that extra 20 hours while you're at home on the couch doing that. You're going to be playing video games. No offense, Captain Kern. I love video games, by the way. But I mean, it's an example because I mean, you will do something that's not being productive.
I would honestly rather be making printers than playing video games anymore. So
Captain Kern hasn't built a boron yet.
Nope, haven't.
Fun. It's fun.
It is.
Do not build a
The manuals are pretty spot on. I mean, you'd have a good experience.
Heck, I'm doing the wife. I'm building the wife of V0.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
V0s are like my go-to for like single, like one-off prints. I mean, they're fantastic. No waiting for the chamber to heat up. I mean, you just press print and go.
Well, she keeps stealing mine, so.
I know when I built my V0, we didn't have the. They had just came out with the nut grabbers that you can slide in the
no drop nuts.
Rails.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I came up with so many colorful new adjectives when I was building my thing.
Actually, I think
The
the
V
last
Zero is the hardest one, I think, for me.
yeah, I think the last thing
Yeah.
I bought from West was just like a week ago was some of the slide-in square nuts for my V Zero because they got a rounded edge on them that you can wiggle in without having to slide them into the end.
Yeah.
And I bought my clicky clack door from it too. And so I built the whole thing to stock, and then I took the stock door off, put the clicky clack on. I was like, I am not taking all these extrusions off of here to slide this. It's like jump on, order them up. I'll wait a few days, get the ones I can slide into the rail in
Much
place.
easier.
I got the first round of V0 printer that came with the roll-in nuts,
Oh,
and
nice.
those things would not go into the extrusion. Would not.
I had to take my frame apart so many times because they didn't have the slide-in nuts.
Slide ins.
So I took out I mean, I literally can't. I'm working my V Zero is in pieces because I was doing the conversion to V0.2 partial, and I have a strip screw that I can't actually easily take apart my frame anymore.
Right.
I blame those stupid nuts and me taking it in and out
Yeah,
so many times on that.
There's nothing more frustrating than putting on a rail, and you get to the middle of the rail and you go to tighten it up, and then it just keeps turning. You're like, no.
Yeah.
I did the slide-in bars for the
Bars.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's
did
what
that.
that's what it came with mine with the LDO is it
The
came with
rail nuts or whatever they call them. The T-slot rail nuts or something.
yeah.
it
And
was
if
just
you don't have
a-
one with the metal ones, you can actually print plastic ones to drop in there that you put the
Yeah.
ingredients into it, slide it in there.
But I figured my luck, I'll cockeye one of them, and I'll be in the same. Crossthread's a strong thread, but not when it's not all the way down.
Nature's Loctite.
Yeah.
Do you find I mean, so for going back to your support discussion, because you guys sell all these kits, does that pose a unique challenge as far as support? Because you guys find yourself often fielding those questions, right?
Yeah. So one thing I've kind of committed to ourselves is that we're not going to sell anything that our staff doesn't know about. So we get, I mean, I don't know, now it's weekly people asking us to sell different printers or things like that, and it's like if I don't have staff that know how to use that and that have actually used that printer, we're not doing it. The U1, for instance, I'm bringing it to try it and then I want our staff to try it before I actually offer it because we have to support it. So every employee, I believe, except for one, has built a Voron. So whether it's Trident 2.4 or V0, most of them have built more than one. So support for that stuff is actually pretty easy. I will say from working in both sides of that, from the DIY space to you buy, a Soval or something like that is just supposed to work out of the box, bamboo even. The DIY space is easier. There's a lot less, like if something is messed up on the DIY space, most people either will try to diagnose it themselves and fix it, find out where they messed up because most of the time it's not the product, and then only then they'll come back to you if they're stuck. On the other side, I mean, the amount of support tickets we get because someone clogged their hot end and they want to return the printer like that, it's the DIY space 100 times over I would choose.
It's also a lot easier with borons and everything else. I mean, as far as sourcing parts, you can get those parts anywhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And again, because we've built it, I mean, we do video calls every once in a while. I mean, we'll do things like that to walk people through it.
Yeah, a lot of times you've got a good suspicion of what's going on because it was that one spot that was kind of wonky going together.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of times we've experienced it now because we've sort of hit that scale where, I mean, a good chunk of the people, I don't know, well, we've seen most of the issues, I guess. So now it's also easier too because we're like, hey, you remember that one guy? I bet you the same thing happened to him, um, and we can get through that. I will say though, I mean, I forgot who mentioned it, but I mean the suppliers in the DIY space are pretty good at sort of helping to diagnose problems.
Mm.
So we've got a short. I mean, it's contacting LDO, contacting Big Tree Tech, all of these companies I can do within hours usually, and we can work out issues. We're tracking a couple, for instance, with LDO, and it's a group chat with Fabrico, KB3D, West 3D, LDO, and like three other LDO people and some engineers. Like we're all sort of working it together and sort of troubleshooting issues as a team, which is really cool.
Something else I'm curious about, Daniel, is you were talking about your filament sales increase.
Mhm.
From a business standpoint, what margin are you seeing new customers hit your stores and your supply versus pre-existing? I mean, is it steadily? Are you steadily growing with new customers, or is it primarily repeat customers?
Uh, no, so and there's depending on the industry, there's actually like optimal statistics for this. We're pretty close to what that optimal is. Um, I want to say we're 60 of our orders, like 64, 65 of them are repeat, and like the other, 40%, 35 of them are new customers. So you have a healthy, like, group of new customers that tend to be
Right.
repeat customers. But it's always been more returning. I mean, we've had up to about 70-30 before. Um, and again, that's I think again playing the long game is super important. I mean, you build a relationship with the customers that you have, and they'll come back. And I would say most of our customers, it's not their first order. In fact, yeah, at least 65% of them of our orders, it's not their first order.
It's really good to hear that you got so many returning customers, which I'm not surprised at all, that people come back again. But it's also really good to hear that you've got so many new customers coming in, because without new people coming in, the hobby kind of dies,
Yeah,
because people phase out, people move on in life and whatnot. And without new folks coming in to kind of replace that, things stagnate. And I think that, you know, I've famously said it about some of the open source projects where it's just kind of stagnated for a while now. But it's good to hear that new people are still coming into the hobby, even if some projects have stagnated.
yeah. I mean, and there's most of the projects. I feel like there's development happening. So, for instance, like the Milo CNC, which is another one that we support. I know that they're working on a Milo too. Um, I know the Voron design team has multiple projects going on. Ratrig come out with new printers. Um, the Rolohan Delta Flyer is new. I mean, there's development that continues to happen, but there are projects like you can't hang your hat on one thing. So like
Yeah.
we got to a point where when I quit my job and now I'm supporting staff and I have to make sure that the business is sustainable. Voron is big enough. I feel like it probably hit critical mass where just like if you're really into Creality, like that's not going away. I don't think Voron is going away either. Because again, I think it's a big enough community now. But you can't rely on that growth because that is not guaranteed. Things can stagnate. The new shiny thing can happen.
Mhm.
It's just
there are so many rabbit holes in this hobby that it's hard to get bored. You get bored with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Jump over and do a 3D sets car, or go do a Nerf blaster, or go do a pie project. Go do some Arduino stuff where you print some things and put an Arduino in it. There is just so much to do. Build a printer. Matter of fact, it's got to be hard on you guys as vendors. There's so many rabbit holes, you can't stock it all.
And that's why we keep needing more space. I mean,
Yeah.
Yep.
RJ's asking about East 3D, which I think is just them asking if there's ever going to be any plans to open up a second location, which I'm not sure makes a whole lot of sense.
We've looked at it. In fact, if you go to east3d.com, it goes to West 3D.
Yeah, I know.
We have all the directions. So we've looked at expanding, is all I'll say. I think it makes sense to have a distributed model for some of the products. Things like filament is a lot cheaper if you're shipping, a state or two away, versus everything coming from Oregon that's traveling quite a long ways. It makes sense. Is that something that's happening imminently? No. Honestly, because we're not funded, we're basically like an overhead keeps growing. Like it also would be a lot to try to stand up another warehouse with actual product.
Yeah, so many businesses fail that were doing really well when they
Overextend.
try to open up a second location, be it restaurants or jewelry stores, which I have some experience with.
Yeah. You don't want to do. I mean, I will say. I mean, we don't make a lot of profit, mostly because we keep growing. Like our inventory keeps expanding. We keep adding new product, and that is basically eating into all of our other product, or all of our other profit. So if we were to move, my other concern would be that the capital to, get the new cool thing ends up being more limited. And I think a lot of growth happens from the new cool thing. We still sell, Ender 3 stuff. It sells a little bit, but if we get stuck and we can only start selling that, I think that's also where our growth really gets limited.
Yeah. I think if you were going to start up a second location rather than East 3D, I think North 3D up in Canada would probably make more financial sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think the markets that, if you look at like where our customers are, I don't think we have too big of a hit by being geographically where we are, like Florida and New York and all of these. I mean, they're New Jersey. I mean, a lot of our customers are there. Yes, I do think if you can go to KB3D or Fabrico because they're closer, you'll get it a day or two earlier. That's going to be the thing. And I have no issues with that.
I'm less than 100 miles from KB3D. It is like a 2-hour drive, but I can still order from West 3D and get it sooner than I can from KB3D. That is literally just straight up the highway, right? Because of the way the mail routes it.
I think they're fast.
I don't know.
It's not them. It's the post office. The way they route it through different distribution centers, it's faster to come all the way from Oregon to Ohio than it is to go from upstate Ohio to mid-state Ohio because of the way it routes it.
Yeah, USPS is a mess.
Let's not talk about the Postal Service. Thank you.
Shipping it. Alex, will be about 83 about those time those micro switches and bearings show up at your house.
Yeah. So I want to move this over and talk a little bit about print inventory. I don't know how many folks are familiar with it, but I'm going to let Cody tell you about it a little bit.
Oh, geez, I get to follow follow West3D and that. So, all right. So yeah, I guess a little bit of background around kind of how it started and who I am and why I seem to crank out quite a few projects. So like I mentioned at the beginning, I've been in the 3D printing world for quite a while now. And I like to contribute and give back to the community where I can. That's part of why I think that's part of why I've stuck with 3D printing as long as I have, and why I keep coming back is the fact that the community is just so solid. You got companies like West3D and KB3D and everybody else that are heavily involved in the community, and we all kind of help each other, and projects and things like that always keeps it interesting. I have been a web developer for a long time, but I don't do that for a living because I would probably hate doing it if I did it for a living. So it's kind of just been a hobby of mine. I have a couple of sites that I host for customers, but I've hosted for them for going on 15 years now, probably. And so just kind of for fun, my day job is in the software world, but I don't do development. I'm more on the sales side. But around this time last year, I was at some of the people in the chat, and some people have probably heard the story because I've told it on a couple of live streams that I've had. But around this time last year, I was sitting there. I got asked if I could make some 3D printed toys for a children's hospital that was local. They were looking for donations, and thought I would print a bunch of things and send them over to them. And I opened up my computer, went into my drive, and I was trying to find a Fix Some Dude truck. And I know I have this. I know I have this fire truck. I just can't find it on my drive. Went in there, searched for it. Finally just gave up and went out to Maker World and to printables and just re-downloaded it. And when I re-downloaded it, it said Fix Some Dude Fire Truck 6. And I'm like, okay, so there's 6 copies on my computer, and I just couldn't find them because I just dumped everything into my downloads directory.
That's familiar.
So the next morning I woke up and I just had this idea, and I'm like, I wonder if I should just write something. I kind of wanted a project that I could get back into programming, that I could explore some of the more newer technologies that were out there, and something that would just help me. And so originally it was just, okay, I'm going to build just a basic inventory program that would let me find all of my STL files, list them, and put them into a better search. Throw them into a NoSQL engine or something so I can search for them instantly, because Windows search just seems like it keeps getting worse. You can't find anything now. You search for a file now, and it comes up with advertisements for different different. So it's just like, what are they doing? So I did that. Started talking to people, and they're like, "Oh no, that sounds I have that challenge as well. That sounds really cool." And it snowballed. It went from being just a basic UI that has very limited functionality to building something out that I would be comfortable with sharing with people. And the community, there was quite a few people that showed interest and decided to throw it out there and see if anybody wanted to help, test and help, on the development side, or help on just the requirement side. And next thing I know, there was dozens of people in a Discord, and we were all kind of chatting about what would be useful for them. When I first built it, I thought, well, my drive that has a few hundred models on it was pretty significant, and people came in and said, I have 4 terabytes of models that I can't find anything. And I'm like, oh wow, that's taking it to a whole nother level. So that added a little bit of complexity into how I was going to approach it and things like that.
16 terabytes.
But ultimately, I decided to again use it as a learning experience, use it as a way to kind of polish my skills up a little bit, but also give back. If I'm going to build it, I'm not going to gatekeep. I'm not going to keep it to myself. I don't have any interest in selling it, because then you're tied to it and it becomes a job, and I don't want a job that does that, because it takes all the fun out of it. So I just started developing the software that is known as Printventory now. So it's a free open source platform. It runs on your computer. It's not hosted. It's not, we are working on a server version for doing network management, if you want to do network management on your local network. But essentially you install it, you point it to your directories where you might store your files at. So in my case, I pointed to my downloads directory because I'm too lazy to do any other sorting or anything like that. It goes out there, finds all of the 3D print files, it finds the STLs, it finds the 3MF files. Now it looks for the files that are within zip files now, which is pretty useful, and brings them in and gives you a nice UI that you can go through. You can do a global search across everything, which was kind of the original design, which was just be able to search on the file name and bring it back. But now we have a number of different data fields, so you can sort by the designer, you can sort by parent model. So if it's if you're building a Voron and you have all of the files for that Voron kit, you can put them underneath of a single parent model and kind of group them together. Track things like licensing. So that was another one. If you're doing, if you're selling these models, or if you're, doing 3D printing as a business, you want to be able to know which ones you have commercial rights to, being able to tag the things on that. If you've printed it or not. So if you're like me, you kind of just, oh, that's a cool model, I'll go out there and download it. Or you go out there and download a model just to support a designer that you like and make sure that they're getting the recognition that they deserve. But being able to track and see that you're printing them and things like that. And then just general tagging. So being able to go in there and associate any tag so you can kind of sort it and make the library how you want to make it is extremely powerful. So we worked on it for a while, released, we had quite a few betas, and then we released the version 1, like I said, around this time last year. And that had a lot of really good features. And then after that initial public release came out, I think the beta testers, we started looking at, okay, well, what can we bring in? What can we make? How can we make this better? The original version, the scanning and the initial pulling those models into your data, your library, was not anything I was ever happy with. For me, it was like a couple of minutes because I only had a few thousand files, but I knew people were out there that were having to let it run for like 6 hours to collect all of the initial scan. And so because it was going out there, finding the models, it was calculating the hash, it was generating the thumbnails, it was doing all that stuff. So we wanted to make sure that was faster. That's when I started kind of looking into like the AI assisted coding. Before, I was kind of using it a little bit for debugging. Like if somebody would tell me, hey, I have this error, I would throw it in to Copilot and see, okay, well, this is kind of helping me figure out in the code where it was having issues at. But starting to look more and more at using AI to help solve some of those complex challenges, like the scanning, and say, hey, do you have any recommendations on how we can make this faster? And it comes back with a list of recommendations and code chunks and things like that you can go in there and try. That made a huge difference. So we worked on that kind of over the summer. I took a break. After V1, I wasn't quite happy with how I originally developed it, because I kind of went at it at a web developer standpoint. And there was a lot of huge monolithic files. And I decided to rip it all apart and try to fix a bunch of stuff. And it broke everything. I'm amazed that I'm amazed that the beta testers just didn't leave and say, I'm not messing with this anymore. So I kind of got a little bit burned out over the summer. But came back in, looked at it different, kind of rolled back some of the changes, made less significant refactors, and again, kind of figured out where we were going. And really, with version 2, which came out 2 weeks ago now, for the public version 2, it's, in my opinion, it's actually kind of where I would have liked version 1 to be when we first released it. You point it at a directory, it scans, brings them in almost instantaneously. And does all of the different things. We're able to add some more automations around information that's in 3MF files and stuff like that, which a couple of the other, most of the streams that I do, I like to challenge people. If you're not familiar with the amount of data that's in a 3MF file, if you go to one, rename it to a zip, and just look at the data that's in there, the multiple, the build plate images, the model images, the thumbnails that you would get on Maker World, all of the metadata are files that are in there. So being able to consume some of that stuff and help you build your library more automated. And then using AI for things like tagging. So being able to actually use AI, send a picture of the model to AI and say, hey, generate a list of tags for this, and things like that is just quality of life changes. but ultimately, I'm really happy to hear that it's solving a lot of challenges for people that had needs in the community. Because again, that's kind of what I built it for. I built it for myself originally, and I still use it. Uh, I find it a lifesaver if you're doing massive projects to be able to sort them and track the progress of what you're printing. So over Christmas, I got a baby belt printer, and I downloaded the GitHub in, loaded all the files, marked them as baby belt. As I went through and printed them, I could mark them as printed. So I wasn't doing the whole song and dance where I have a bunch of models in the slicer and I'm renaming build plates as I go through and print things and all of the ways I was doing it before. So just being able to make your life easier as you go through and uh, you know either do
You want
3D
to
printing as a business or as fun. So
That's
do
awesome.
you want to like pull up print inventory and share your
yeah, sure.
screen
So
and
sure. I
walk
can.
everybody through a little bit of how it works and what it can do?
I was
Sure.
I
actually
just
going through and
downloaded it.
tagging my V2 stuff while he was explaining.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
really cool.
for
I was,
projects, it's so the very first project that I did that I used it for was the 3D sets Jeep, the Rancher
okay.
4x4 or whatever, and
Oh
that
yeah,
was like
there's a
a
lot of
trillion
files in those
files.
things.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
like you had these files, but you had these files if you wanted this configuration or this configuration and things like that. So to be able to go
Right.
through, basically go through the manual, sort them all by the different things, put notes in. These ones need to be printed in, and a stronger filament. These ones are PLA okay, and things like that. And then as you just go through, the list and knock them out as you walk through them. Makes those types of things a lot easier. But yeah, I can go ahead and share. I'll keep I'll just do a transition here and see if this is going to work. So I don't know if you can.
Yep,
Actually, maybe
I'm
it'll
good.
be easier to.
Search is super quick
Let me
too.
see if I can share my screen through here.
Yeah, it's
Share.
the search is just from what it was to what it is now.
There we go.
It's so much faster.
Have
Yeah, I haven't loaded it. I haven't loaded the new one up yet. So
Oh,
If
so
I
is there
do this, I'm going to have a problem because now I'm going to have to locate all of my stuff to put it in a centralized location.
No, so you can scan multiple
mm-mm.
files. So if you
yeah,
have multiple directories, you can scan either multiple directories, or I've had wild people that just go up there and point it to their C drive and let it go through and pull everything that they find in their C drive or in their shared drive or whatever.
is
Um,
there is there or are you? I'm guessing you have like requests, but so like the deduplicate, which is awesome because I've got 4,600 and some odd models in my drive, and that's whatever's in
Nice.
my downloads, right? Like a lot of them are duplicates. Is there a way to just dedupe, like hit delete, yes, delete them all?
no, so I think that was actually I don't know who asked it, but somebody just asked that feature request in Discord. It
Okay,
was either today or yesterday, and I was like, oh, that's a really good idea.
like a
To be able to
select
at
all.
least select a candidate, and then you can go through and clean it up. But yeah,
Yeah.
having some sort of bulk select would be really
Yeah, this is
useful.
an amazing tool. I gotta say, I hadn't downloaded it until now. This is really great.
Yeah, it's
So yeah, I mean, this is up on the screen here is the tool. So it's pretty simple interface. It's meant to kind of just make it as easy as possible. I've had people say, the Windows File Explorer. There's extensions for that, or there's extensions for Mac OS and things like that to be able to see the models, but to be able to sort them and tie metadata to them and be able to track them is kind of where this tool shines. So you come into here if you don't have anything loaded the first time you come in, it kind of gives you a quick start guide you can walk through. I recommend reading that because there are some good tips that are kind of hidden, like the ability to set your STL home so it scans every time you open it, and the deduplication and things like that that are kind of hidden in menus. But you point it at a directory, and you're not limited to just one directory. So if you have 5 different places that have STL's files, you can scan each one of those, and it brings them together into a centralized source. Or like I said, you can hit that high level, and it'll recursively go through all of the folders. But yeah, you just basically pick it. You pick your directory, and then it goes through and scans it, brings them in, and becomes models within your tool. I just hit a very large directory, so that's probably going to take a minute. But once you have it organized, you kind of see the preview of all of your models that are in here. You can click on them. It'll bring you to the details about it, where it's at. I can mark it as, if I want to mark it as printed to kind of track if I've printed this model or not. You can see that these particular models were 3MF files. So I pull in all of those different images that I was talking about that are in the 3MF file. If you want to kind of go through those down here, so not all 3MF files are going to have information in them, and there's really no other way of populating automatic details on models. So there's a little bit of legwork that you have to put into kind of setting the designer, setting the parent model, setting the license. I'm looking at ways of making that easier. Originally, the idea was to give it the URL for the model site, which is kind of a no-brainer. Hey, give it the MakerWorld URL and have it just go out there and populate the information. But thanks to all of the scammers that are out there that are selling 10,000 STLs for $5 on Facebook, all of the sites now have such strong anti-bot that you can't hit it. They give you random information every time you go to try to do any type of scraping for them. I'm looking at, and this is something that I've kind of started testing, but some sort of maybe browser extension. So when you download a file from one of the model sites, have it automatically add it, have it pull the information at the time of the download. And that seems like it's pretty promising. It's something that I want to continue to develop. But as of right now, you kind of just have to sort through and set the information for yourself. If you have a methodology of sorting already in place, and I just published a video on my YouTube yesterday about this because it's something that I kept getting asked about. But if you have all of your models sorted by folders, say you have a folder with all of a certain designer in it, or you have like all of your Voron parts inside of a folder,
You're giving me way too much credit.
The search itself has it's global, so it's going to search the file name, any metadata associated with it, as well as the path. So what I was saying is, if you have, say, Fix'em Dude or Built Over Bot or something, or if you have those models in folders, you can search for that folder name and then go through and do just a Control A, select all the models, and then go through and set those details on those models down at the bottom here. So it kind of gives you an easy way of getting started. The source field in this case lets you just kind of put in where you got it at, and you can launch to it. So again, it's kind of good to still track where you're getting those models at. And then when you right click on a model, you have a bunch of different options here. Preview's brand new. This is still in beta, but being able to kind of do a preview of what that file looks like and be able to spin it around and stuff like that. That was something that was asked quite a bit. Without having to launch it into a launcher, because these are just kind of thumbnails that get captured at the time of inventory. And then being able to do some extra things like open in slicer. So if you have multiple slicers, if you have Prusa slicer, if you have Bamboo Studio, if you have Orca, if you have, depending on what printer you're using, you'll probably have a different slicer for it. If you're using resin, maybe you want to send it to Lychee Slicer or whatever it is. You can onboard those slicers into the tool, and then you can come in here and that'll give you a list of all of your different programs that you can select, and it'll open it up in that program. Now, what's cool is this is an archive, so this is inside of a zip file, and this is probably one of my most favorite features of the V2, because every model site you go to now, it seems like they give you a zip file, and then you have to go extract the zip file, and then now you have the zip file sitting there, and you have the original copy sitting there. Now you can print straight from those zip files. So this is inside of an archive.
Oh, that's
I can come here. I could say open in Slicer. I can just open the file up, and it will open that up in Bamboo Studio, and I can go print it without having to extract it. So you can enable that. It's not enabled by default, but if you load this in and you go to the settings area and you go to file types, you can check the box for enable zip support. Just because it was brand new, and it does take a little bit longer on the scan if you're hitting every single zip file that you're looking at in your box, but it's not significant, especially with the new scanning, to go in there and enable zip support. But that's really nice, because now you don't have to extract that file, and now you don't have to have two copies of that model, because one's in the zip and one's on your file system. So, other cool things that I included in here is the ability to do dedupe, like we talked about earlier. I don't know if I have any duplications here. see, I haven't ran it because I just rescanned that folder. So it's going to go through and it's going to look at, we're not looking at just file name for duplications. We're looking at the actual file hashes. So it's going to give you the duplication, even if it's a different file name or if it's in a completely different area. If it's an identical file, it's an identical file based on the file hash. And then you can go through and clean them up. Like somebody was just asking the ability to do the bulk delete. You'll kind of see that what that would look like here in a second. I don't know if I have any duplicates in this environment.
Most likely no, because it works for you.
Okay, so I do have some because I did hit that. I did hit my test folder. That's why it took so long. But you can see here 2 different complete paths. Kind of gives you a preview. And if I wanted to clean them up, all I would do is to kind of go through here, click the duplicate, click delete, and it will go through and ask me if I want to delete it. Confirms it, removes it from the file system, gives me the rest of my duplicate models. So I was amazed when I first ran this on that downloads directory when I first started working on it. I think I cleaned up like, I don't know, it was like 2.5 gigs or something like that of files just from duplicates. And again, I had like 6 or 8 versions of like certain models that I went through and were able to clean up. So we talked a little bit about tagging, but there is AI tagging in here, which is really cool. In version 2, I found a service that uses OpenAI, but gives you a free endpoint to hit. So if you don't want to set up your own OpenAI API key or Gemini or local AI service to be able to do the tagging, you can use it's called pewter.com. It's a like free OpenAI API endpoint. And once you create an account there, you can use that without any real configuration. That goes through and lets me, I don't know if I have that. So generate tags. Once I have that set up, I can say generate tags. It's going to take that thumbnail of that model, send it out. It actually came back and figured out that it was a squeaker by the name, gave me a couple of different options for tags. And I can come through here and say, I don't want this one. I don't want this one. And I can apply those tags to it. And once they're applied, I can see that they're now, associated with that model. I can search on them. I can filter on them. I can apply those tags to other models and things like that. The print roulette is kind of just something I included for fun, and for those that might be facing what I would call print blocks. So if you're sitting there, you're like, I want to print something. I have systems that aren't running. You can come in here and maybe you have all your tags. Maybe you have your fidget toys tagged or something like that. You could say, search by toy. If I came in here and searched by, let's see, I don't think I have any. I guess I do have some in there. And then I just came in here, clicked the print roulette. It's going to kind of bounce around and it's going to randomly select a model. It's going to give me a message that says time to get printing. And then you can come here and, open it up in your slicer and start printing it, mark it as printed when you're done. So just something that's kind of fun there. That's kind of the core functions. We are working pretty diligently, like I mentioned, on a centralized management solution, because right now this is basically running it on your system, scanning your local drives and pulling your models in. But if you have a NAS or if you have a Synology or something like that has all your models on it and you want to be able to access it from multiple computers, we have a server mode now, which will spin up like a web server that you can hit the same UI in a browser. We also have a Docker version that you can run on your NAS or on your home lab or whatever it might be. Point it to the network drive or point it to the local drive that has all the models, and be able to print directly from there. Be able to track those models centrally. That's experimental, but there has been a lot of interest in it. So I'm working quite a bit on that to kind of work out some bugs that are kind of nuances for that. It's a little bit different when you're handling things over a network versus handling them locally. But we have a few people everything in here has been kind of community driven. We have a really active Discord, a really good group of really good beta testers, which are extremely patient with me tagging them 5 times a day with new versions as they find issues, and I fix them and push a new version. So it's we iterate pretty quickly and get stuff done pretty fast. So if you have any suggestions, everything in here, like I said, this first started with just a basic grid that gave me all of my models, and it's evolved to kind of what it is because of people coming in and saying, well, what about this? What about this? What it'd be nice if I could do this with it, and go through and see if we can do that and how we would accomplish it and how we would add those functionalities. So,
well, like I said, I got a 40 terabyte TrueNAS server sitting right here. So you want a test environment? There you go.
Yeah, I mean we're keeping the like I said, the Docker and the server modes. If I don't know TrueNAS, if you can, I know like Synology, you can deploy a Docker image on them. But if you can't, then you just basically deploy it. We got the images are on Docker Hub. You deploy it, you give it the network path, or you give it the path to the files, and it goes and does its thing. And the nice thing about the server or the NAS mode or the Docker mode is that you can set a pooling frequency too. So you could say every hour or every 6 hours or something like that, check for new models, and it'll go through, check the ones that are new, clean up the ones that have been deleted, and that type of thing kind of automatically in the back end. So,
I mean, that's a whole lot easier than the way I've currently got it set up. I've got a Windows 7 image right now running inside of a virtual application that I just do a remote into.
Yeah, and that, like, that's the network mode was, I thought I was going to have to create an entire new fork. But when I tested a couple of things, I'm like, oh no, I think we should be able to do this with the same code base. So it's identical. You either just start it up with a different parameter, or you, like I said, load the Docker image and it loads it up, and then you go to the URL in the browser. So it's actually pretty slick how it works. I think I'm probably going to set mine up that way eventually, just because it seems like it's a little bit more efficient. Plus, it's kind of neat. I mean, you probably wouldn't be able to slice from it, but it's neat to be able to pull it up even on your phone because it's a web browser. And be able to, do I have this certain model? You could just jump in there and search for it and things like that. So
the other nice thing about having it on a server is typically servers have more storage space than some of these new computers. Like I'm running a Mac Mini that's got 256 gigs of hard drive space. Like I'm very particular about what I let actually sit on the computers versus in storage somewhere else.
And I got the Mac Mini at home too.
When I first
awesome.
started it, and I guess that's another good point is, this is cross-platform too. So Windows, Mac, we have a Linux build now, and then, like I said, the OS build. So I tried to keep it as available to anybody that wants to get in there and use it. When I first started looking into what solutions were out there that kind of did this, there are a couple of ones that I found but they had kind of the caveat of, hey, you had to host this on a home lab or something like that. And I was trying to keep the level of the barrier to entry as low as possible. Not everybody knows how to use a Docker container. Not everybody knows how to run a server, but everybody kind of knows how to, hey, I can install this exe and run it. So that was kind of the first focus on that. And then the other projects that I kind of found that were out there were, they'd have a GitHub that hasn't been touched in quite a few years. So, I mean, and
what's the minimal viable hardware for running this? Like, can I throw it on a Raspberry Pi?
Yeah, you could. I would imagine you could throw this on a Raspberry Pi. My development system is a pretty lightweight laptop. In my Linux, but my Mac OS build environment that I use for Mac OS building and testing is an old Mac Mini that I just remote into, that I think has like 4 gigs of memory and barely runs if you try to actually use it. But I remote into it. That's how I make the Mac builds, and that's how I do the Mac testing. So I haven't tried it on a Raspberry Pi, but I imagine you can run it on there.
Alex, throw it on that Think Center I sent you.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I was going to try to run it on a Raspberry Pi 5, and then I forgot.
So last year from Murph, I had an Intel Nook that I took down to Murph that I had a monitor plugged into that I was showing this off at, and I think that only has maybe 2 gigs of memory or maybe 4, but it's a pretty lightweight system too, and that was running Windows. But the minimum requirements, I haven't really tested it, but like I said, the performance impact is during the scan process and is during the thumbnail generation process in general, because first it goes through and finds all the files, which is going to be hard drive performance, but then it has to go through and render them. Originally, I was doing live rendering, so I was using the library, and every thumbnail was its own render. And WebGL would just start crying if you hit over a couple of hundred models. So now what I do is it renders it, and as soon as it renders it, takes a screenshot of it, and then it loads that screenshot into the database as a thumbnail file. So that initial hit is a little bit higher, but that's throttled. So it's just going to, if anything on a slower system, it'll just take a little bit longer to generate all the thumbnails. So
yeah, that was one of the questions I asked you, was how much hard drive space is this going to eat up?
Yeah,
storing
it's negligible. Yeah, it compressed. I mean, these thumbnails are tiny, and it compresses. It encodes the thumbnail to text, and it throws it into a database. So it's not. Yeah, it's. I haven't actually done any looking at the. I think somebody said that I asked somebody to share me their database file. One of the testers that had a larger library, and we were doing some testing because they were seeing some oddities. I think theirs was a couple hundred megs, but they had a significant number of models in there. So
yeah, if we're talking megs, we're fine. If we're talking gigs,
I think you'd have to you'd probably have to have quite a few in order to hit the gigabyte level, because it's not storing the models. That's the other thing that people have asked me. Can I export this library and send it to somebody? And it's like, yeah, it's not going to do them any good though, because there's no actual models in it. It's just pointers back to your system.
Yeah, that was another question.
And I kind of did that for a purpose. I didn't want this to become like a tool for people to share models that they maybe have purchased and things like that, but also for the performance side. And I've had model designers and people that run 3D printing businesses come to me and say, hey, does my model information leave my system because they have confidential models they're working on, or they don't want to share, make sure that nobody else gets their hands on models before they're available and things like that. And the only analytics that I send outside of your system, and it's only if you can opt out of it, is the analytics. So when you load it up, it sends your version and your version and your model count to Google Analytics, just so I can track to make sure that people are still using it, so I know if I should still be working on it, because I don't want to be working on a project that nobody's using. And again, you can opt out of that in the help, but it's not sending any identifying information about you, not your IP address or anything. Just, hey, version 2.2.0, they have 1,500 models, and that's pretty much all I could see. So
yeah, I was talking to somebody last night, and they're like, well, doesn't that spy on you? I'm like, no, it just sends back the analytics. I said, no. I said, he's just using, and you can opt out of it. It was just more
right
of
in here. You can say opt out for usage if you want to. But yeah, it's that, and I understand the concern. Again, because some of the other there's I'm trying to think of the name of it. There's one out there. Well, there is one of the model library software that again runs as a server, and you can actually access it from like their cloud service or something like that. And in that case, you're basically sending all the information to there because they have to be able to have it. But if you're not accessing it other than, I don't care what anybody else has in their library anyways. Like I said, the only reason I'm collecting analytics is because at one point I was like, is anybody even actually using this? So I was like, I should probably at least put something in there to let me know that, hey, this is being utilized, so I'm not wasting all my time. So
I mean, if you were uploading everything, I mean, you would never have the problem of not knowing what to print. You got all the models.
I'd have Creality and Bamboo knocking on my door then, right? So you get access to it.
right.
So, I mean, I guess, like I said, that's kind of it. You can, I guess the one other thing, and I kind of hinted on it, but you can, select one, or you can select multiple when you go through and either do the sorting, or if you're doing cleanup, or if you're doing different actions to it, you can go into multi-edit mode, or you can control click now, which is kind of nice to be able to select them, just like you kind of would do in a browser. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, I haven't been watching chat, so I don't know if there's any questions or anything, but our Discord, so on the website there's a link to our Discord, if you want to join there, if you're interested in for helping with beta testing or anything like that, the beta test, I can give you the beta test role. All of this code is on GitHub, which I haven't really talked. Every time I do a push, I push the code to GitHub. So if you want to look at the code, you want to look at it, see what it's doing. If you want to take and fork this and do your own thing, if you want to contribute, it's all out there for anybody. It's all in the open source licensing.
Nice.
But I appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk about it and share the platform and let other people know what's available, and hopefully get some feedback and make it even better for more people. So
this would be a neat collab with Tinker Atlas.
Yeah, I'm on Tinker Atlas.
Yeah.
The one speaking of like collabs and people talking and looking at other solutions, it was like when I first came out with this, the number of people that had asked me, can I manage my filament inventory, was like a lot. That was like the number one question I got. And I always pointed,
Do you store on a file on your computer?
Yeah. I always pointed them at either
Spoolman.
Yeah, Spoolman or
Spoolman DB's awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly, Spoolman takes a lot of work.
Yeah, I started doing that, and when I was coding this, actually, I was using I think it was Spoolman, and I gave up. I'm lazy. It's like I'm not gonna. I loaded them in. I took like an entire day loading all my filament in, and they all sit just like they did the day that I loaded them in. But
I think if I was doing a lot of production printing, I
think that's what it's aimed at, really.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense for me. What stuff that I do, I mean, I'll just go open up my cabinets in the garage and see which color I have.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have a list of filament colors, because I have a stack of filament here, I have a stack of filament downstairs, I got a stack of filament in my office. So I do have to kind of go hunt when I want to find something.
To an auto reel.
Even if there was a feature that when you marked it as printed, it gave you the option to fill in what filament you printed it with.
Yeah,
that's when you're like, oh crap, what did I print that with? Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at if you were to go on Printables or MakerWorld or any of those, and you see the things that they print, like the comments are always like, "What filament did you use?" I mean, it would be cool if you were able to like hover over and it would say, "Hey, that was Polymaker or Lava Red or whatever."
Yeah, and I have reached out. I have reached out to, because when I first was trying to figure out how to auto-populate the model details, I reached out to Printables, I reached out to Bamboo Lab, I reached out to My Mini Factory, and I reached out to Thangs and Cults to see if they were working on any type of API to make that easier. I don't want to download models. I just want to be able to access the information. My Mini Factory came back and said that they had one and provided me the details for that. Bamboo Lab was the only other one to reply and said that they're working on basically a information API, but I never heard anything back from them. So it would be really cool to get it more tied into some of the more model sites like that as well.
Yeah.
What about pulling in like HueForge stuff?
That was so I think it was like a couple of days ago, somebody asked about HueForge. I use it for HueForge, and what I do is I add I don't know if I have any, it's there on my laptop, but normally what I'll do for my HueForge is I'll add it in, and then I'll take the contents of the description file, and I'll use the notes field. So if you click on a model and come down to notes, there's a text field that you can, I need exit, there we go. There's a text field that you can put all your information in. And so I'll dump the description file into there so I don't lose it. But yeah, I think that's one of the enhancements that I'm going to do is to look at the directory, and if it finds that description.txt file, to bring that in with the model as a node automatically and be able to tag it as a HueForge so you can find them. That was one of the enhancements that I marked as something that should be pretty easy to do, and that makes a lot of sense.
See, and I've been using just the source as just, instead of using bookmarks and having 10,000 bookmarks, put the source in there, and then when I find the model, I can go see if there's something new or updated or what have you.
Yeah, I use the source because I like to. If I make a model, I usually share the make because that helps the designer. I'll upload the image of it. So I like having that source, so that way I just click the launch button, go into there, upload the model image, and that's kind of
Right.
where I want to. That's kind of where the idea for the browser extension
Yeah.
came into play. Was you can filter those down to only take actions if you're on a certain URL. So be able to filter it down. So if it sees a downloaded file from MakerWorld, pull in that information, load it into the library automatically, populate the source, populate the designer, even if it's just populating the source, if it can't get the designer or anything else, at least the model would be in your library, and that URL would be in the source to be able to do whatever else you want to with it. So I think that
Well,
would be kind of a cool feature.
could
So
you almost
a lot.
use it as like a reverse image search kind of thing, where like if you had the file on your computer, you're able to like ask
Uh,
query or do the API to be like this file with this name that was this amount of kilobytes or whatever you could
yeah.
do. You could be like, hey, is this the one that was designed by this person on MakerWorld or whatever?
Yeah. So by the image is probably by the image would be interesting, especially not all.
I think it'd be
Yeah,
easier to probably again do like a name
yeah,
file.
file name. So what I found from file name is the search engines have the same issue as I had now. So if you search for a file name in the description, like in Google, it'll actually a lot of times say the wrong designer because it's pulling that obfuscated data.
Yeah.
If you look at the source on a page on MakerWorld, it's like just a bunch of random, like they seed a bunch of different model designer names in there and stuff like that to try to I guess confuse bots, and that's just confusing search engines too. But and I've tried using AI to kind of ask where models came from, and it had the same exact thing. It would almost return the identical information that the web scraper that I was using would return. So it sucks that we have to live that way. It sucks that people abused it to the point where the model sites have to do that.
Yeah.
But I would really like to see the model sites, at least give us some sort of access to be able to hey, I want here's the model name, give me the designer or whatever it might be, through like API or something like that would be the most useful. Like I said, my
It'd be
mini factory
interesting.
has it. Sorry, good.
It'd be interesting to have like some sort of AI image recognition where you could go. I don't remember what it was, but it was a dinosaur, and type in dinosaur, and it goes through and goes, okay, these are all your files that are dinosaurs,
Yeah.
right? Just based on your thumbnail.
Yep. That's
Right?
what the tagging is. So that's what AI tagging does.
Yeah, but is it AI or is it?
It's AI.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, you come in here. When you configure your AI service, you can pick Gemini, you can pick OpenAI. You can use your own LLM if you have a local one, or if there's a different one that you want to use. But you configure that in here, and then you can say how many tags do you want to generate, what level of detail. There's a bunch of different configurations, but underneath the service, you can pick your AI service, and then when you right-click and generate tags, it takes that thumbnail, sends it to the AI, says, "Hey, this is a 3D model," and there's a whole prompt that goes along with it. But give me a descriptive tag for each of these models, and it returns that list. And then you can search by them, you can filter by the tags, you can do that type of thing. This pewter.com one is actually free for anybody to use. So if you're getting started, just come in here, select that as your service, come down here and click save, and you can start using it. I haven't hit a limitation with it yet, but again, it's a free service, so I don't know. They might stop it at any time, but right now you sign up for it. You hit save, it brings up a little prompt thing.
Will it automatically go through and do that for every model, or do you have to prompt it to do it?
Nope. So I can come in here and I could do Control A, and if I wanted to, I could say, well, let me filter this down real quick because I don't want to do all of them. So let me just like mark a couple of these as printed. Let me select a few of these. So if I came in here and I did like filter by my printed models, and so now if I have these three selected, now I could select as many as I wanted, but I could right click and say generate tag, and it's going through now and it's pulling it's sending each of these to, depending on how I had my because you could specify how many you send at a time. I think I had 3 sent. But you can see it's starting to generate them now, and I can come through and select which ones I wanted to pick. And then once I'm done, I just click apply once that top one's done.
Yeah, that's what I would like it to do, is auto generate tags for stuff.
Yep.
And then also automatically tag stuff based on the file path, because my stuff is, I'm OCD, so it's all sorted by all sorts of things down designer, models, like groups, like, okay, these are all the files that I use for my Trident build. These are, these are all the files that I used for this blaster build or whatever, like
Yeah,
to
literally all
grab and
looking like
generate tags based on the file paths and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been because I've been trying to figure out how we would do something like that, because it's there. Yeah, I mean, would that be a tag, or would you want to sort that? That's kind of the thing. Because normally what I do, and I kind of, like I talked about earlier, I did a video on it, but normally what I'll do is, like, if I want to, I think my baby belt files are still on here. So what I would normally do is search for my baby belt, because that's in the file directory path. So I know that that's in the folder path. So if we look here, the folder is baby belt main. So that brings me back all my baby belt files. And what I would do is just Control A, go to parent model. Let's see if I have one in there already. I don't have it in this one. So what I would do is just add a new one and say parent model is baby belt pro. Click add. And now all of them are now underneath of that baby belt pro. So I could search for that when I come up to my, I can either search for it, or I can come up and say parent model, and I could select that, and it brings me just those models. So if it's in the directory path, you can search for it and then again select all and set them that way. But yeah, being able to automate that somehow would be really.
Because I'm lazy, I don't want to go in and tag stuff.
Yeah. I think probably what it would be is. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about doing like regex or something like that to be able to pull out the designer name and the parent model from the directory path and let the user customize that. But AI might be a good use for that too. If you give the AI the directory path, it might be able to figure that out for you. I might have to play around with that.
Well, guys, we've run a little bit over tonight. I want to thank everybody who has come out and joined us on stream. In chat, Daniel, Tech Jeeper, Clownhammer, Captain, Steven, Brad, thanks for joining in on the stream. It's always good to have people. Tonight's the first night we haven't gone off chasing squirrels, folks.
We failed.
We didn't get a chance to.
I know. We did really good tonight, guys. I've seen some new names in chat. Hope everybody enjoyed the podcast. Come back. We do this every week, Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern time. If you've got something cool going on, or something cool you want us to reach out and have somebody on stream, let us know. It's a roundtable discussion of maker stuff. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, do all the YouTuber stuff. You know what it is. You've heard it before, I'm sure. So check out Print Inventory. The link for that is currently pinned in the description. Brad, thank you for the gifted memberships, and welcome everybody that just got gifted memberships.
Nice.
Awesome.
Also, check out West3D. If you need something for your printer and they don't have it, I'll be shocked.
Tell me.
Yeah, just let Dan know. He'll get it. Or he'll tell you where to go to get it, I'm sure.
Certainly. Well, thanks for doing this. I mean, it was a pleasure to be on here, and I appreciate the opportunity to hang out with you guys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah.
You guys are both welcome every Friday.
I got one last question for Dan.
Hey, what's up?
Uh-oh.
How big is your booth going to be at Remerp this year?
We are. They're doing a lottery for platinum sponsors. We did get the platinum sponsorship.
Yes.
So
Nice.
it should be the same size as last year. Yeah, and I mean that's our local show, so that's the one that we'll try to always step up for. In fact, it's coming up sooner. It's coming up soon. Got to do some
Yeah.
work.
I know.
I'm really
80-some
hoping to make
days,
it
I
out to
think.
that one.
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's definitely, and just the environment, the location. I mean, all that stuff's pretty good. And it seems like there's just a really good group of people that go and hang out there. Not that the other ones aren't, but yeah, definitely if you can make it to a Murph, try.
But I'd love to
Yeah,
hit one of the other ones.
it
We have air
seems like
conditioning.
it's the gold standard now.
We don't have swampland in the middle of the venue.
So I think it was.
It may snow though. It could snow. It is April, so we could have a little bit of snow. That's all we've had is a little bit of snow.
Well, I think
But-
what they were dealing with static at Murph this last time around, and I think there was some damage. I mean, I know our stuff because we have flooring, like we put down.
Oh
flooring.
yeah.
It was all we had to actually take it out of the box, like air it all out. It was Polymaker. They didn't. So when they came for 3D Printopia, they had to buy all new backdrops and stuff like that because it was all moldy and not good.
Oh yikes!
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
I mean, say what you will. It's Murph is a completely different game. It's like a family reunion. It's a different event.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking Murph at all, but yes, the swamp cooler. The environment is a tougher environment, but it is. I like that it's very maker focused. It really isn't like a commercial thing. In fact, there's not a lot of commercial vendors that go to it. West 3D does, but then you get like 3D Printopia, which is kind of getting more commercial, I feel like, and then you've got Murph that's maybe somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah, I think Murph's the only one I'm gonna make it to.
It's all right. That's a good one too.
Murph is always interesting because you always get like the coachman crowd come through. I have no idea about 3D printing, and they just wander through because it's at the fairgrounds, and things like that are kind of just bizarre because they've never seen one.
I'm gonna try and make Rocky Mountain for next year. I won't be able to this year.
Are you guys gonna try doing Lone Star?
Don't know about that one actually.
So apparently there's one in like Dallas or something like that. In the summer.
I might find out when that one is. If we do some work down that way, I might be able to travel on somebody else's dime.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty good turnout for that one too, from what I've heard.
If my maker meetups grow very much more in my garage, it's going to become a rep fest too.
Then you just got to get sponsorship.
There you go. Start selling booth space. Start selling chairs.
Yeah.
So community technical college already said that they would let me use their event space because it's a tech thing and educational. They wouldn't even charge. So
that's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm doing.
I don't know how big it is because I haven't been in there, but
I'm doing a one-day event at the local maker space and at the end of the month. I mean, it's just a matter of there are people that are willing to meet and regardless of what you do. I coordinate a couple of local meetups, and if you just throw word out there that hey, want to come hang out for a couple of hours and talk about 3D printing, you'll have like 50 people show up out of the whim. And you'll be like, where did you all come from? I hear it's kind of crazy, but
our local maker space closed down. It didn't survive COVID.
Oh.
Yeah, we don't have any near me. There might be some down in Columbus, but there's nothing immediately around me.
I like how the squirrel brain. There you go. It just took a little while.
It was delayed squirrel.
Hey, I missed last week's stream, so.
Yeah. I think I missed the last 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's okay. Try to have a large group of folks. That way, people have lives. They can't make it every week, but when they can, awesome.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes,
Good night.
it's been
You guys
fun.
have a great weekend. If you're in the path of this
Thanks.
massive storm, stay safe.
Yeah. Take care.
It's going to be pretty bad for some people, getting up to an inch of ice or something.
Oh
So
wow! I think what is
yeah,
it? Further southeast you go, the harder it's hitting. Or
yeah, it's like a little bit of rain at the bottom, and then mostly snow, but through like Tennessee over into North Carolina and Arkansas and
oh,
stuff is getting pretty major ice storm. So
huh?
It's
I'll
pretty
be
much stopped
safe.
snowing here, but we're supposed to get negative 25 wind chill tonight. So
Wow.
oh yeah, that's the other
Sweet.
thing too. Ice storm, and then like almost 0 degree temperatures outside. So people lose
What?
power, and then it's below zero with
Yeah.
it's not good.
What'd you end up? What'd you get, Captain? Did you guys get much, or I mean, all what I got blew away already. Oh yeah,
didn't
you
expect
got
that
4 times.
much.
We got yeah, your old joke, 15 inches between flakes. Yep. It was yeah. I was gonna go out and just hit it with the leaf blower, and the wind took care of it. I don't have to do nothing, and I face north, so it's like, all right, I don't have to do anything this week. But it's terrible. We need the moisture. We're gonna be a tinderbox.
Already are.
I
Down under
know.
makers bragging about the fact that he's got summer down there.
That rat. I mean, that's
He can
good for
just shut up right now.
It's 4 degrees Fahrenheit outside right now, according to my weather thing on the wall here.
Well,
Yeah.
down
Oh,
under maker, if you guys got a little bit of snow, you might not have those giant face-eating spiders.
Yeah, I was gonna say
You're
That's
right.
true.
it's 40C, but it's also like 40 animals that can kill you within a foot when you walk outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's just in the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah.
Before you even get outside.
They need to just that whole country just needs to be renamed Jurassic Park.
Right.
yeah, me and Steven were watching a cool Australia documentary. It's called Predator Badlands. It is an awesome Australian documentary.
Oh, nice. I'll have to check it out.
All right, guys.
All
Take care.
right, everyone. Have a great
All
weekend.
right.
Take
Have a
care.
good weekend. All stay safe.
All right.